Well, howdy, y'all. This is Market Explainer, the business news podcast. We're the largest in the universe. We're the fastest growing. I think we should move on to our next story, but first I want to tell you about the sponsor for the next story. It's Big Man Gear. This guy's idea for merchandising brand. Every corny dad joke on a t-shirt, Amazon Prime. So you just order it on Amazon Prime with all your other stuff. They just ship it to your house. BigManGear.com will take you right to the store. If I was you, I'd go check it out.
Thank you. What's our next story, Danny?
Next story.
We are all Austin heavy today, aren't we?
Totally. My good friend, Mark Cuban, invested in a company on Shark Tank. If you don't know, it's a TV show called Eterniva. You ready for this? Mm-hmm. This business is ill. What this company does is...
No, Danny, no.
They take the ashes of your loved ones.
No, Danny. Take that joke back. It's wrong. It's wrong. And the people out there that are listening to this know it's wrong once you tell them what this is.
What Eterniva does, and this is a brilliant... I mean, it pisses me off how smart this...
Yeah, so and how simple.
If you're unfamiliar with the diamond industry, the last 5 years, really about 8 to 5 years, there's been a revolution called cultured diamonds or lab-grown diamonds. Mm-hmm. Now, these aren't cubic zirconia. So this isn't Diamondique or whatever weird thing from QVC.
Right.
This is an actual diamond.
Right.
So at the birth of the industry, at the birth of this, jewelers were getting fooled. Because somebody would bring in a cultured stone, which they usually bring in about 20 to 30% less than a diamond that comes out of the ground, which you're out there trying to buy a diamond for your girlfriend. First of all, stop being a simp, be a pimp. Secondly, don't buy her a diamond. Buy yourself a Rolex instead. Thirdly, why would you buy her a diamond that came out of the ground when you could go buy a cultured stone? Nobody's going to know the difference.
But cultured, by the way... This is a grown diamond. Yeah. It is not like CZs are manufactured to look like a diamond. Right. This, from a molecular standpoint,
they grow
is
a diamond in a
grown diamond, much like 99% of pearls that you get in today's world, right? We don't go out and clams and pull pearls and do. No, we grow pearls the way that clams grow pearls. Right? In a lab, and they look beautiful, and they can make colors. This is the same thing. They can grow you a diamond and cultivate it, as you said, but literally grow. I think the only thing, and because it is a growth, right? And of course, diamonds are carbon, right? You should in school learn how diamonds are made, pressure from the earth, carbon, right? The pressure creates a diamond, yada, yada. We all learned that in high school, right? Yeah. Which is why we mine and dig for diamonds and stuff like that. The point, though, is in this case, they are using a lab to cultivate a diamond. I think the biggest drawback to this is that it takes 7 months, right? Because, look, and we're all carbon-based life forms. Again, you should have learned that in middle school biology. That's your opinion.
I'm a lizard person.
We're all carbon-based life forms. So as cremation has increased in popularity, right? That's actually the story behind this company. Is the lady that started this had a friend that passed away, didn't have much family, was cremated. It's kind of, from what I got out of the story, she separated her ashes in 3 ways, sent one to distant family and one to her friend, right? And her friend was kind of looking, what am I going to do with these ashes?
Right.
And happened to sit down and have dinner with a guy that was actually growing diamonds. And was like, you realize that ashes are mostly carbon.
Carbon, yeah.
And I can make you a diamond. And she's like, what? You can what?
And they can do it from your hair. They can do it from your pet.
Right.
So if you have a loved one that passes and they're not being cremated, you can take parts of their diamond. Now, the reason this is molto generoso, brilliant business, is because when it comes to diamonds, the markup is ungodly, right?
Unbelievable.
Because it is not just vertically integrated. One company controls the diamond industry.
De Beers industry.
De Beers
market, yeah. in some fashion or form.
So the markup on diamonds is ungodly. It's not really a precious stone in the way that a ruby or whatever is. It's all branding. This is an exercise in superb branding. And God bless
100%. Well, and look, gemstones is that way entirely, right? I mean, it much like diamonds, much like artwork and stuff like that, have the same mobster background, right? Okay. Like they use an exchange. There's a reason that diamonds are a currency worldwide and are bought and sold on certain markets and used as value. But it's got the same kind of mobster background as that's what when you talk about value, right? I mean, the markup is so huge, controlled by a company. You talk about monopolies. Right? De Beers has some way or form to control this. And then you add on top of it the, what do you call it? Societal around diamonds. The norm. And diamonds being a best friend and weddings and all of this. You add on top of that.
Yeah, and so when you kind of add up the Venn diagram that Eternova lives in, diamonds, high aggressive margin industry.
Yep.
Then loss, personal loss.
Mm-hmm.
Your pet, right? People. I mean, I love pets. I like animals, but I think some people are insane when it comes to their animals. Like
but they spend a crap ton of money on animals,
right? So, people who lack, people aren't getting married. They're not having kids at the same rate they used to. So your pet, and listen. If I go on Tinder and I see a single woman and she says, fur parent or dog mom, dead to me. You're dead to me. You're insane.
But look, there's a lot of people, though. Again, and growing market in the last decade, right?
So they can take your pets. They can take the ashes of your loved ones. The cross-section of these two, and, again, Kevin O'Leary, a co-star on Shark Tank with Mark Cuban, always says people pay an unreasonable multiple for their weddings. They just don't budget for their weddings and funerals. They'll spend any amount of money. So when you take a high margin industry where there isn't a lot of logic, you start explaining. And I've watched my male friends. I watched one of them get married, and his wife was like, "Well, a ring is an investment." No, it's not.
No, it's not.
If you want a ring,
I hate that statement.
Ring.
I hate it. I hate that statement. It's a lie being told by everyone.
Not an investment. It's going to go down in value, and it's barely going to keep pace with inflation.
It wasn't worth the value in the first place. Anyway, don't get me on that soapbox. But weddings in general,
it's an unreasonable amount of money people spend. Take those two things, right, and you find the synergy where you're going to take somebody's, and I 2 years ago lost someone very close to me, my older sister, and unfortunately I didn't and wouldn't have thought to and would have felt really weird about trying to get a lock of her hair after she passed.
Sure.
But it is absolutely something I would have done to make her daughter's 2 diamond rings out of her, remains.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's like that is.
Well, one of the things they've done here in Central Texas that I think, which is why they just went through another round of funding and raised, $10 million or whatever. This is their, I think, 3rd round of funding actually since Shark Tank or something like that, and they continue to make money. One of the things they've done here in Central Texas, and I know this personally because I saw their brochures and information when my father-in-law passed away not too terribly long ago at the funeral home. So they've partnered with funeral homes, and I'm sure they give them some kind of kickback or whatever.
Of course they do.
But they've partnered with funeral homes. So you just said, well, it would feel really weird getting a lock of hair. Funeral homes do all that stuff for you. There's nothing, right? So if they partner with funeral homes, and here's what they want the money for, right? Right now they provide a service, right? Send us ashes, send us hair, we'll make a diamond out of it. What they want to make it is an experience. That's what they want to make it. They want to get you involved from a standpoint. Look, you're talking about, again, weddings, funerals. People this process helps people grieve. It helps people. Right. An experience makes people involved and happier. I'll give you an example, and it said this in the article. For example, if you can, for a price, right, come down to the showroom floor of this place, right, with the ashes, you're dropping off the ashes of your loved one, and you can press a button or pull a lever, and that starts the process.
Right.
You pay. It's an experience. Right. It's a I was involved. You see what I'm saying? That's what they're planning to do, at least what they say they're planning to do with this money, is they're trying to create an experience through the process, which I think is important because it's 7 to 9 months long.
Right. I guess that's fair. Right. You might not feel like you have a sense of ownership over the thing that's happening. I don't know about you, if this has ever happened to you. I ordered something on Amazon, and 2 days later, when it showed up at my neighbor's house, didn't show up to my house, I didn't notice because I forgot that I ordered it.
Well, no, absolutely. And then you figure 7 to 9 months, okay, you've been grieving, you're grieving. You go on with your life a little bit, and then all of a sudden you get a package in the mail, and it's a diamond made from your dead father. And, I mean, that sounds horrifying to me. I mean, it's nice and it's sad, but how does that not, like, PTSD? Like,
yeah.
You see them, like, so I get that they're trying to make it a process so that it's not so alarming, right? But again, that to me is the biggest drawback of this. It's a 7 to 9 month process. So $3,000 though in the grand scheme of rings is not a lot of money.
Not a crazy amount of money
for what it's doing. Right, so I think it's a good price point. Again, the 7 to 9 months. That's anything kills it, that's what'll kill it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the only thing that, for me, it's like I don't want to be reminded of again. But at the same time, you bothered to do this, bothered to engage with this process, spend this volume of money on something. It makes me feel like maybe this is going to be a lengthier grieving process for you. You know?
I also felt at the time, again, my experience, not anybody else's, and they've done over 1,500 of these, right? From 1,000 different customers, 40% of their business is pets or whatever. At the time, my wife and I talked about this. She saw the flyer, and your very first thought, or her very first thought, was, that sounds really cool, right, or whatever. But then the more we talked about it, the more kind of creeped out she got. Does that make sense?
And I wonder how many people in the throes of their grief buy the ring and then go, I don't exactly want to walk around with my passed away father's hair, you know?
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, so, and that kind of came around, and which is why we didn't do anything, right? Ultimately, we didn't do anything with it. So, at least that was my experience with it, right? So and that's all I could say, say for it. But I would think at least some people would go through that. Is all I'm saying.
No, and I like the concept.
They made a comment in this article that said people don't want traditional funerals anymore. I think obviously to get into the masses, where's what you want to be, right? This is not a reoccurring thing. It's a one-shot deal. You're going to have to make it, if you want to get to your numbers, your masses, right, you're going to have to not make comments like that, right? You're going to have to make it part of a process where they're being cremated or whether they're being buried, whether they're whatever it may be. You're just going to have to say, look, this is an addition to instead of.
Well, I guess that's not true. I mean, because my instructions in my living will is upon my death, I'm cremated. My ashes are supposed to be split up into three. Two of the locations are undisclosed where my ashes will be spread, and the other one is Galveston.
Very nice. Very nice.